This is the San Joaquin Valley, one of the world's biggest and most beautiful factories. It produces much of California's $3.5 billion agricultural income each year. And still, for every 10 people who plant and pick this wealth, 8 of them live in houses which lack even minimum standards of health, safety, and comfort.
Comprendió mis penas y entre sus arenas What modern machines shake loose, people still pick up. By the bucket, by the hour, by the box. The average farm worker earns $2,300 a year. He works long hours at low wages, never sure of how long a job will last or where another one will come from. The only thing he can be sure of is that it won't be easy. The towns of the valley are becoming more modern, too. The shady streets of houses built 25 or 50 years ago are no longer enough for growing cities. Almost overnight, vineyards and apricot groves turn into subdivisions, dry land into flower beds and barbecue pits. But not everyone lives in subdivisions. Hot and dusty in the summer, cold and damp in the winter. Difficult to keep clean, impossible to make safe. People live and die in these houses, not because they want to, but because there seems to be no other choice. Few farm workers, for instance, would believe that houses like these could belong to them, at least not until they saw it with their own eyes. This is an open house. These modern 3-bedroom houses were built during the slack seasons of 1964 by families in Goshen, California. Together with their Quaker sponsors, the American Friends Service Committee, they invited other farm workers as well as community leaders and officials to visit each home in the project. The visitors' questions showed past disappointments. Is it a good, solid house? And you built it yourself? Will you really own it? The answers were all yes, but with one bit of advice. Don't think it happened by magic. 6 of the families who visited the Goshen houses were from the Cutler-Avosi area. Their houses were better than many around them, but still they weren't satisfied. They wanted to find out more about self-help housing and began to meet as a group. Joe Cortez, Jose Reis, Elihu Adami, Bertha Reis, Sally Adami, Marguita Cortez, Aurelia Lupercio, Rene Esquivel, Stephen Reis. The Quaker supervisor, Howard Washburn, had warned them in the beginning that it'd be a year or more before they could start construction. But during that time, they had discussions with architects, bankers, planners, and local officials. Then they elected officers and began selecting their own house plans. That's when the fun began.
Right, Laura, made it for $1. Because maybe some of the group is not working. Instead of loafing around, they can work for that fella.
Que tu vida era mía y que tú me querías como yo.
There were meetings every week or two because the success of the project depended upon the cooperation of each person in the group. Everyone had to work on every house, not just his own. So the rules for sharing this work had to be agreed upon and understood before construction started. Trust and respect among members was essential. But to avoid any possible problems later on, they planned the labor exchange in all its details first. Elihu Adami, who was president of the group, ran the meetings as well as he did tractors and earth levelers. The loans necessary to build the houses came from the Farmers Home Administration. Aurelio and Petra Lupercio were interviewed by Ray Gardner, the Tulare County supervisor of this agency, who'd already approved other loans in the group. The amount borrowed ranged from $5,000 to $6,000 and will be repaid over 33 years bearing 4% interest. Even though there were a lot of questions, all Aurelio needed to show, basically, was his demonstrated ability to repay the loan and his real need for a new house. American citizenship was also a requirement, which encouraged members of the group who were not citizens to become naturalized. After the interview, Aurelio, like the others, went back to waiting and working. Sometimes it seemed like the building would never start, that there'd just be more meetings and more papers. But eventually the loan approvals came through. Lots had been carefully surveyed and plan studied. The only thing left to do was dig.
Debajo de esas nos dejan, debajo de esas nos dejan, qué bonitos ojos tienen. Ellos me quieren mirar, pero si tú no los dejas, pero si tú no los dejas, ni siquiera parpadear. Malagueña salerosa, besar tus labios quisiera, besar tus labios quisiera, malagueña salerosa. Y decirte, mi hermosa, que
it makes you feel that you're doing something for yourself, for your family, you know. It makes you feel proud. But at the same time, it's hard work, you know. But it's worth it, I guess.
Tiene muchas piedras. Para facturar esto con los... Esto es un carabajo fuerte. Recio, pídale. Un poquito aquí, esta piedra. No. Jerry Bog.
Rene Esquivel was elected labor manager. His job was to schedule the work crews as various people worked on each other's houses. Every member of the family over 16 was credited in the records with the hours he put in, which unfortunately left out little Richard. Rene also worked very long hours at the local grocery store, which left him less spare time than the others.
Is it all right, Jake? No, I made one of those ships there.
Once the concrete slab was poured, blueprints didn't seem so hard to understand. It was a little easier to see where a bedroom or a bathroom would be. And each person learned from the others as well as from his own experience. How to save materials, how to pick out the best lumber, how to change the plans when a problem came up. All of which was really educational, too. And when help was needed, Jake Arnheimer, the construction supervisor, was there to explain. He went from house to house to get everyone started on the right track.
Make no allowance for this most of the train.
One of the best things about this project was that it involved the whole family. Every day, something new was in place, and everyone could see the house growing closer to being finished.
Me duele un pie, pero si es para esas cosas ya que se aman, ¿quién iré? Soy soldado de levita, de sol de caballería, de sol de caballería, soy soldado de levita. Me incorporé yo a las filas por una mujer bonita que robó la vida mía.
Stephen Rees, being the father of 8 children, as well as being a pretty good carpenter, knew how to entertain. And these kids knew how to have fun. They already had the security and love of good homes. All they needed were better houses.
sometimes the fella got to work, see, to make his living. Maybe he worked 3 or 4 days of the week. Okay, well, maybe they don't let him off because he lose his job or something. See?
Limosnero de amor, me llama, limosnero de amor, yo soy.
It took teamwork and practice to handle roof trusses, but it was very important to get the houses roofed in before the rains. After that, the interior would be protected and work could go on regardless of weather.
Desde entonces me llaman, desde entonces me llaman, limosnero de amor, implorando tu amor, me dejas, ya no puedo vivir sin ti. Te llevaste todo, me dejaste solo, desde entonces me llaman.
Another reason to get roofs on was to make night work possible, even though it cut down on people's sleep.
Limosnero de amor.
Better go home and take a bath and go to sleep. Let's at least sleep 3-4 hours. Day before yesterday I slept 3 hours. Last night I slept about 2 hours. I didn't go to sleep until around 10 o'clock and they woke me up at 1 o'clock. So I slept about 3 hours. And you know 3 hours and didn't work. And then you gotta have 6 hours sleep.
Getting up at 5 after working till midnight, building a house and still earning a living wasn't easy for anyone. Naturally, discouragement set in at times, especially on dreary days. But small fires and close friendships kept the spirits up. Meetings during construction were sometimes necessary to catch up on reporting hours.
Sí. Noviembre 21, 2 horas.
Ponerle la... ¿Noviembre qué?
Noviembre 21.
Bertha Reese was secretary of the group. She contacted everyone about meetings and kept the minutes and records straight. Bertha and her sister, Sally Adami, were also pretty good at shingling.
Ours is like that. Oh, yours is in the picture window, is it? No, ours is. Ours has two doors, two glass doors. Ours has two glass doors, too.
Jake Arnheimer taught by example. His job as on-the-spot advisor was especially difficult because of new, tougher building codes in California. Jake worked a lot of overtime to make sure that these 6 houses would pass final inspection. Each week, the group worked with more efficiency. Jobs that took 8 hours the first time only took 3 hours the last time. And still the work was often of a higher quality than found on commercially built projects. People building their own houses want to do everything right. And there's great satisfaction for a man in putting together his own house, piece by piece. He knows where every stud and pipe and wire is. And he knows where the flaws are, too. No one else seems to notice them.
Por eso on this thing was a better idea. Nomás darle chisel tantito ahí en un lado and then...
This self-help housing project found it best to subcontract some phases of construction. These included cesspools, plumbing, tile work, and cabinets. They were highly skilled jobs which would have cost more in time and money if the group had attempted them alone.
How you going out there? I'll tell you. I want you clapping on there, will you? Listen, now we need 8 feet. Just a minute.
Laying floor tile, however, was done by anyone with enough patience for the job. And patience was something everyone needed to keep going. There always seemed to be another coat of paint or another molding to put into place, until the house was finally down to the last finishing touches.
Just tell me how to do it, don't do it.
Soy soldado de levita, nesto de caballería.
6 new houses for 6 happy homes. Altogether, $35,000 in loans and 9,000 hours of hard work. The inspection tag was the ticket to finally move in.
Por una mujer bonita que burló la vida mía. Soy soldado de levita, de caballería, de son de caballería.
When I was building it, there were a lot of friends of mine, they used to come around, you know. But I used to work all day, you know. Even, I didn't go to, not even to eat to a house, you know. And they used to yell at me, why don't you go eat? And, well, what are you doing there? You're living in there? You're sleeping in there or what? But I was busy, you know. I wanted to get it done, you know, right away.
To grow up this kind of ground here, this ground's tough, you know what you call tough. It's really rough. You can't even dig a foot deep on this thing here.
In time, however, grass catches hold, trees grow, flowers blossom, and families prosper. Hard-won houses are filled with happy homes. Gardens are planted. God's in his heaven. All's right with the world. At least part of it. Here at Three Rocks, California, 39 families live in shacks which have long been condemned as unfit for human habitation. Can self-help housing be a solution for them and for thousands more in the same situation? These pioneers in Tulare County have shown that it may be. Certainly more public housing is needed as well. But for every man who dreams of building his own house, there should be a way to make that dream come true. Self-help housing may be the best way for good homes to find better houses.
Maybe if people understand, you know, what's on the future, you know, you can put your family in there and they know you'll build it. And they get more trust on you, and you can tell them, look, this house is not going to be mine, it's going to be yours.
Limosnero